This is lesson 1.2, Introduction to Logs and Log Exponential Conversions. So we're just going to take a look at a couple of same base equations first. So the whole point of our introduction to logs is so that we can work with bases that are not the same. So this is what we're going to eventually be dealing with, is bases that are not the same, so that we can have to switch it into log form on purpose. So we do have a couple same base questions down here, so we're going to do these. So what base should I take the left-hand side A to? What should I take base to? Base 2, good. So left-hand side is already a base 2, so I'll leave him a base 2. Now I'm going to turn the 4 into a base 2. So I'm going to have 2 squared, and now I the exponent that's already there. So my bases are identical. Now I can drop the bases. And then you're going to multiply into the brackets. So 2x plus 2 on the right-hand side. And then we're going to take x to the left. So we're going to subtract 2 x's. Subtract 2 x's. So I've got 1 subtract 2 is a negative 1 x's equals 2. Now we need to isolate the variable again. So we're going to divide by what's in front of the variable. So we're dividing by negative 1 to both sides. And that gives us x equals negative 2 in this case. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple seconds. I would like you to try B and C, please. I'll give you a moment. Push pause now. Play when you're ready. Okay, so we've got a couple minutes. Let's take a look at what we've got here. On the left-hand side, it doesn't change. On the right-hand side, we're going to 6 squared, and then the bracket, x minus 1. Okay, now we can drop our bases, but we have to multiply into the brackets. Don't forget, this guy multiplies to both numbers. So x minus 4 equals 2x minus 2. We're going to take 2x to the left and the negative 4 to the right. So subtract 2x, subtract 2x, add 4, add 4. Okay? So we're doing it all in one step, switching, flipping, flopping step sides, okay? So negative 4 plus 4, those cancel. 2x minus 2x, those cancel. Now we add up like terms on each side. So we have 1x, subtract 2 x's, gives us a negative 1x. Negative 2 plus 4 gives us a positive 2. Now we divide out our negative 1. X equals negative 2. Yeah, I think I went around and said some of you were wrong, but you're right. I apologize. Okay, next, letter C. Letter C. So we have 2 situations going on with letter C. What's the first one that's unique? The fraction. So in order to get this guy out of the fraction, what do I have to do? Flip him upside. So we're going to flip him. That positive 1 exponent he has on him is going to turn to a negative 1. So let's just see what's all going on with these guys. So I'm going to have 7 to the negative 1 equaling 7 squared all times by x minus 2. Okay? Now we can drop our bases. Bases are gone. And I have negative 1 equals. Now I got to multiply into that bracket. So I'm going to have 2x minus 4. So the x's are on the right. I'm going to take the negative 4 to the left. So this negative 4 is coming this way by adding 4. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. That gives me 3 equals 2x. And now I'm going to divide by which number? The 2 or the 3? The 2, the one in front of the variable. Okay. Divide by the 2. X is 1.5. And again, you could have left it as a fraction. Okay, 1.5 or 3 over 2. It doesn't matter. It depends on how the question's asked. It might want, maybe it's multiple choice, and they're all in decimals. You'll convert. I'm not sure. Okay, so that's the intro. This is just review on same base solving. We're trying to get to non-same base solving. So in order to do that, we have to learn about logarithms. And we have to learn about that we can actually solve equations two ways. So we were just doing it algebraically with same base. Now we can do it graphically. So if it's non-same base, typically what we see is we see kids running to their calculators right away. And it is what you can do. You can take 1 into y1, 1 into y2, let them graph and see where they connect. Wherever they crisscross, so wherever they intersect, that's your solution, that's x. So that's one way we're going to do it, and we're actually going to do that question. So everybody is going to go to their calculator. My calculator right here. And we're going to go into our y equals. And we are going to solve. So in our y equals, you'll see that I've got y1 underneath the 2x plus 1. Now there's a couple things here when we input them into our calculator. We don't see brackets, but we must have brackets around every exponent. Okay, every exponent needs a bracket. So in the calculator, I'm going to hit my y equals. And in y1, I'm going to throw in 2 exponent bracket. X plus 1. Close my bracket. Go down to y2. I'm going to hit 5 as my base. Exponent bracket. X minus 1. Close your bracket. Okay, so far we've got everything loaded into our y equals. So the whole point of this is to see where they intersect. So now we're going to hit, and these are the steps right here for you when I'm not with you. So we're going to hit graph. And right now we can sort of see where they're at. But can I see where they can connect completely? Not really. I want to see a little bit taller. So the first, there's a couple things you do. It's in your main screen. This is called our Z standard window. It goes from negative 10 on the left to positive 10 on the right, negative 10 below to positive 10 above. So it's our 10 by 10 grid. So we want to be able to take our our y maximum. We want to see above that. So if we hit window, we're going to change our x maximum. We'll just change it to 20. And then we'll be able to clearly see where they intersect. And then we'll hit graph again. Now what should we do if we don't see our graph at all? There's a special feature we can touch in our calculator. Zoom fit. It's our fit graph. Now what that is I would hit zoom in the middle there beside trace, beside window, and then I hit the number 0. So zoom 0. Okay? That's going to give a fit graph. Well, we can see it with our 10 by 10. We just had to raise it a bit. You can see it just fine, so we don't have to do that with this question. So we're going to hit now second trace, number 5. And now we're going to hit intersect. So we're just going to hit enter 3 times. Okay? 2.5 and 11.4. Which number do I want? The x or the y? The x. So what number do we always solve for? Using our exponents, x. Okay, we're always solving for x. So if it's a multiple choice question on an exam or a quiz, guess what? They're going to have the y number also listed there. That's going to be considered a distractor answer. They want to know, do you know which number is the solution? Okay? So the answer to this question, we would round to 2 decimal places, would be 2.51. Okay? So that's one way of solving. We found x equals 2.51 for this case. All right. And this again talks to you about zoom 0, and it's our fit graph. Okay? I'll let you guys try this other one another time. We are going to move on with conversions. So, taking a look, the whole point of using a log is to remove the exponent from the exponent spot. So, we can only solve for x as an exponent if the base is the same. But here, I've got a base 2 and a base 5. They're very different. So in order for me to get that x out of the exponent form, in order for me to solve for it, it's got to be on the same level as the base numbers. And the only way to put it on the same level is to switch it or convert it to log form. Okay? So this is what log form looks like. So we have the word log, the b is called the base number, and x is called the argument. Now it doesn't mean that's our x. So what we're actually solving for is the numbers are going to trade places. I'm going to show you what that looks like as a switcheroo thing. So, we want to put this in our calculator to see if we get the same answer from that one. Okay, and we will. So if I were to put into my calculator, let's find the calculator again. So in my calculator, if I wanted to solve this guy, the same way I did the one on the calculator, I would go into my y equals and I would change what's there. So I would clear him out and I would go 2 exponent x. Go to the bottom, clear him out, put the 5. And then I would hit graph. Can I see where they touch? You bet I can. And now I would hit second trace, number 5 for intersect, and I enter 3 times. So my answer is 2.32. So that's one way of solving it. X equals 2.32. But we're not always going to have that situation. You want to be able to take it out of exponent form and switch it to log form. So in order to do that, there's what I call the switcheroo. So what happens is this. The base number, I'm just going to erase this here. So the base number stays the base of the log. So the base here is 2. He is the same base of the log. It's usually written down hanging by the G. So really, if I were to write it, it'd be log, and the 2's down here. It's quite low, okay? My computer, when I typed it, doesn't put it as low. And then the 5 would be next, and then it equals x. So, as we know, our base number, he dropped down by the G. He stayed the base number. But then look what happened to the x and the 5. Look where x is. He's sitting on top of the 2, and the 5's on the right. Now who's sitting on top of the 2? The 5 is. And where's the x? On the other side of the equal side. So literally, all they did was switch places. Okay? So let's take a look at that again. So, I'll do another couple examples. I've got 3 exponent x equals 4. We're going to switch that to log form. So I'm going to write the word log. Now, which number is going to hang down by that G? 3. The 3. Good. Now, where did the x and the 4 go? They switch. So that means these two switch places now. So now I'm going to put the 4 here equals x. Okay, so that's all you're literally doing. You're rewriting this, switching the 4 and the x places, and then write the word log in front. Okay? And literally that's how it works. So if I want to convert back, how do I convert back? It's called the 7 rule. The 7 rule works like this. Base, exponent, equals answer. Okay, that's the 7 rule. So it will be 3, the x equals 4. Okay, that's our 7 rule. Let's take another one. If we've got 5 to the x equals 72, what is that going to look like as a log? If I write the word log, what happens? 5 hangs down by the G. He's our base. Now what? These guys switch. So 72 goes here, equals x. That's the only way we can get x out of the exponent form so that we can solve for him. So now how do we input a log in our calculators? Well, there's a couple ways. So some of us have an updated calculator, so a newer calculator with newer technology in it. So what that means is the operating system in some calculators is a little bit more advanced than some of the others. So if I look at mine, I want everybody to take out their calculator, please. And I want you to look in your math button. So everybody hit the math button. And I want you to hit the up arrow. The up arrow means you're going to scroll to the bottom. Like it's scroll all the way to the bottom. Now you might have A, B, C, D, a bunch of things under the 0. And if you do, one of them might be log base. Does anybody have one that says log base? Yeah. If you've got a log base button, you're happy, happy, happy camper. If you don't, then you got to input it the way we do. Okay? Because I don't have the log base on here. So if you've got log base, you're happy, like I said. So we are going to now input it into our calculator to solve it. So when we solve this question, so going back to where we were, right here, so when we solved this 2 exponent x equals 5, we had 2.32 as an answer, right? We're going to now put the log in our calculator. So, in your main screen, everybody in their main screen of their calculator, okay, you're now going to type in, if you've got log base, hit log base, and then it's going to ask for the base number. You put the 2. You hit the right arrow to get to the next spot, the next box. So you hit the right arrow, and then you put the 5 in, and then hit enter. And you should get 2.32, yada, yada, yada. Okay? The rest of us, watch how we put it in. So what we're going to do is we have to input it as a fraction. So what that means is log gets split twice. So we write it as a fraction, and we're going to have the top number, the big number, it's called the argument. So the 5 goes first, then the 2. So log 5 divide by log 2. Now be careful, because the word log itself, in some calculators, opens a bracket. If it opens a bracket in your calculator, you must close that bracket before you divide. If you don't, it's going to divide the 5 by log 2, not log 5 divided by it. Okay? So it's only as smart as the person running it, these calculators. So we have to type it in. We're going to go log 5. So we hit log 5, close your bracket. Divide by log 2, close our bracket, and enter. And we'll get 2.32, yada, yada, yada. Okay? So if we don't have the log-based function, we input it as a fraction like this, making sure that there are brackets around the argument number. Now the argument number is the number that is the x here in this case. Okay? He's the big number. So the base hangs low. Okay? So it hangs low. It's got to hang down by that G. And when you're writing questions, please make sure you're very, very specific with it. Hang it low. Because if I can't tell what your base is between the base and the argument, I'll mark it wrong. Okay? You've got to be able to show the difference. Okay. So we got the same answer, 2.32. Okay? So this tells you what the log-based function in your calculator. We're going to continue on. Okay, so I'm going to convert one of them with you, and then you are going to convert. So I'm going to do number 1 and number 4 with you. You're going to do 2, 3, 5, 6. So number 1, we're going to convert to exponential. So we use the 7 rule. There's our 7 rule. So 3 exponent x equals 4. We're just converting. We're not solving anything. Okay? So just converting. Same thing over here, only we're going to go to log form. So this one, we have to write the word log. We hang that base number way low. And now I switch my exponent and my number as my answer. Equals 5x plus 1. So the whole exponent goes to the right-hand side. We're not solving it right now, we're just converting. Okay? We're just converting. Okay, you do those last 4, please. And then we'll take them up in a moment. Push pause down, play when you're ready. Okay, we're going to see how far you got here, guys. So, let's convert to exponential. Let's do our 7 rule. 2 exponent x equals 7. 2 exponent x equals 7. Number 3, 7 rule. 6 exponent x equals 5. Did everybody get those 2 correct? Yes? Excellent. All right, let's go over here. This one we actually converted. We didn't solve it yet. Then it says convert, then solve. Well, we're going to convert the next 2, and then we're going to solve all 3 of them, okay? So this guy's going to convert. Write the word log. What number do I drop down? 6. 6. Good. And then these guys switch places. So 52 equals 3x subtract 2. Okay? Next one. Write the word log. Who drops down? 8. 8. and the 26 and 3x switch places. 26 equals 3x. Okay, so we've got them at the point where we can now solve them. So the easiest one to solve is number 6. So we're going to start with number 6 because there's only one step. How would I isolate x on the right-hand side? What would I have to do to get him by himself? Yeah, just divide by 3. So we would have all of this divided by 3 and all of the left divided by 3. So in our calculator, we could solve the log first, hit enter, and then divide by 3. So I would type in log 26, close my bracket, divide by log 8, close my bracket, enter. Then I would divide the 3. Divide by 3, enter. So you should get 0.52. Okay? Make sure you get that. 0.52. Everybody got those? So, first thing you're going to do, you're going to type in log 26, divide by log 8. Close the bracket, hit enter. Divide by 3. Okay? Alright, let's go to the next question. Now, the only thing that changes number 4 and 5 is that we've got a constant on the other side as well. So all we've got to do with these constants that I've highlighted in green, we're going to move them to the other side, but they're going to sit in front of the word log. We don't want to put them after the word log for this reason. If we forget to close a bracket, pretend we type this in and forget to close that bracket. If we forget to close that, it's going to add or subtract, because it becomes a negative. It'll subtract 1 and that'll become a 23. Okay, so you have to make sure, because brackets are so important, we're going to put them in front of the word log so we don't have to worry about that error ever happening. So I would subtract 1 here. I'm going to subtract 1 out front of the word log. So literally all it means, I'm going to write -1 in front of the word log, but I've got to connect it with a plus sign because there's a hidden 1 in front of the word log that's positive. So it's going to be -1 plus log 24. Okay? And then our last, our last step would be divide out the 5. Okay? So I'm just going to erase the left-hand side so I can show you the steps to type in. So what you would type in is this. You would type -1. Actually, I'd solve the log first. I would go log 24, close my brackets, divide by log 2, close my brackets, and enter. And then I would go plus -1, or just subtract 1. Enter. Then your last step is to divide by 5. Okay, and then divide by 5, enter. Okay, so those are the steps that you have to solve it. So log 24, divide by log 2, that's if you don't have the log base button. Hit your enter. Add -1. Hit enter. Then divide by 5. So I want a decimal answer to 2 decimal places. So what are we going to get for a decimal answer to 2 decimal places? Who's got it? 0.72? Yes. 0.72. All right. So x equals 0.72. On the bottom we got 0.52, correct? 0.52 is x on here. All right, now we've got to do number 5. Okay? So number 5, we're going to do number 5. First thing, I'm going to erase all my steps again. So I'm erasing my steps so I can not confuse you. All right, we're doing number 5 right here. So all we've got to do is take our -2, we're going to add 2, and it's going to go to the left-hand side. So in my calculator, I'm going to type in log 52, close my bracket, divide by log 6, close my bracket. Then I'm going to hit enter. I'm just going to erase this over here because that's part of that other question. Okay, and then after you do that, you're going to go plus 2, enter, because this negative 2 is going to come across as a positive 2. So you're going to add 2 to both sides. Add 2, add 2. So after you do your log 52 divided by log 6, you're going to add 2 after you hit enter. And our last step, what do we divide by? 3. Okay? And then divide by 3, enter. Okay? What do you get for that? 1.4, yes. What's the second decimal? 1.4. Right, okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, so that is how we solve with logs. We need to be able to type it in the calculator properly. On the bottom of this page, what we're going to do is we're going to order them from least to greatest. So that means we need to find the value of the log. We have to actually solve the log. So this is what I'm going to leave you for homework. You're going to solve each of those and put them in the correct order. So all it means is you're going to type these in. If you've got log base, you're laughing. If you don't, you just have to type it with brackets. So this guy would be log 1/2 divided by log 1/8. Remember, always brackets. Okay, always brackets. This guy, log 1/8 divided by log 1/8. Okay, log 27 divided by log 1/3. Okay? So solve each of them and then put them in the correct order on the number line, going smallest to biggest. Okay? And you can order them using the letters because it's a lot to write out all the logs. Okay, push pause now when you're ready. Okay, you've had some time to take a look at these questions. So let's see what we got. This one here, we should get 0 for repeating. The next one is equal to 1. Then we have a -3, and then a 0.5, and a -1.5. So the correct order is C, E, A, D, and then B. From least to greatest. Okay, let's take a look at the next few questions. So again, we're converting into log form. So converting into log form, first thing you have to do, remember, is drop the base. So the base drops low, and then my 2 and my x will switch places. 2 equals x. Okay, and now in your calculator, you're going to type in log base 5 of 2 if you've got the log base function. If not, you will type in log 2, close your bracket, divided by, because log will open a bracket, divided by log 5, close bracket, enter. And this will give us x is equal to 0.43. So that's what we get there for letter A. We're going to work down. So now we're going to work on question D. So we're going to convert question D. And we do the very same thing. We write the word log. The 1.5 drops down, and the 3 in the x trade places. Now we type in our calculator, log 3 divided by log 1.5. And we find out x is going to be 2.71. So x equals 2.71. All right, letter G. So letter G here. Again, we write the word log. We drop our 7 down. Our 41 and our x plus 2 are going to switch places. But now we're going to have to take our 2 and bring it over to the left. So we're going to subtract 2, subtract 2. But remember, we do it out front. So we're going to connect it with a plus sign to log. So now when we take in our calculator, we're going to get -2 plus log base 7 of 4. And that's going to give you -0.09. Okay, so that's A, D, and G. Now we're going to go back up to the top, and we're going to look at B, E, and H. So I'm going to just erase some stuff here so I don't confuse you. All right, so B. Again, we're going to put our word log. We're going to drop our 6 down, and the 2x and 9 trade places. And our very last step, we want to isolate the variable. We're going to divide everything by 2. So divide it by 2. This here would be considered the exact value answer because it's not rounded yet. All right, so we get x equals 0.61. Okay, check the work on that, please. The next question, we're going to write the word log, drop the 4 down, and Trade places with 64 and 2x. Now we've got to divide out the 2, just like we did with the previous question. That is our exact value form. We get x is equal to 1.5 in this case. All right, we're going to work on letter H. Put it up here for you. I have to write that down. Okay, letter H. Let's just get rid of this confusion above you. Okay. So letter H, we're going to write the word log. Drop our 4 down because he's our base. And then the 2x and 12 switch places. Again, our last step, divide the 2 out. So this whole thing is going to be divided by 2. And that's going to be your exact value answer. So we're going to get x is equal to 0.8962, yada, yada, yada. But if I want 2 decimal places, that's going to give me 0.90. You must show that second 0 if it says 2 decimal places. All right, we're going to move up to the top, and now we're going to do the last 3. We're going to do C and F. All right, so there's only 2 left, I guess. So letter C, we are going to drop down the 3 because he's our base, and our exponent, and our 2 switch places. 3x plus 2. So we're going to subtract 2 to both sides to get rid of it. So we're going to connect it out front. Get rid of what we have on the left here. So remember, we connect this part out front with a plus sign. You have to connect it with a plus sign. It doesn't sit as a coefficient. So after that point, then we're going to divide out the 3. So all of this divides out by 3. So this would be considered one possible exact value answer. You type it in your calculator, and we're going to get an answer of x equals negative 0.46. I think that's what you should get for letter C. Letter F is quite long, so I'm just going to erase everything else here that's distracting us so I have enough room. So letter F is long. I'll give you a moment to write that down and see. Okay, now we're going to get rid of it. And here's letter F. So letter F, we have a couple things going on. So our base is on the other side this time. So we're going to have log, our base number is 5, and then this number and the exponent switch places. So 3 equals 2x plus 1. Now our 1's got to take off, and again it's going to move over here, but we're going to connect it with a plus sign up front. Then we need to get rid of our 2 in front of our x, so we're going to divide out 2 to everything. So in our calculator, we would solve log base 5 of 3 in blue, then I would add the negative 1, hit enter, and then I would divide by 2. So there's a couple steps to put in the calculator. We're going to get x is equal to negative 0.16. Okay, check the work, please. On the next question, this is a challenge question. This is a 2-part question. We need to solve the first part and substitute it in the second part. So if you're noticing, we've got multiple variables here. We're only able to solve for one variable at a time. So let's take a look at our first one. So we're going to change it using the 7 rules. We're going to change it to exponential form to solve it. So we've got 2 exponent 3 is equal to x. So therefore, x has to equal 8. That's what 2 exponent 3 is. Now I'm going to substitute that number where that x is. So now I've got log base 2 of t is equal to 8. Now I can do the 7 rule on this one and switch it to exponential form and solve for t. So that means 2 exponent 8 will equal t. When I punch that in the calculator, we're going to get t is equal to 256. Okay, check your work, please. So this is a simple conversion question. It looks challenging because there's a couple steps to it, and they've asked you to solve multiple multiple variables. Okay, so you have to solve for x first, then you have to solve for t. All right, the next one. Now we're going to use our 7 rule, and we are going to solve using 7 rule. We're going to exponential form. So, 7 rule, 6 exponent 2 equals x. So our base, exponent 2 equals x. Now you literally type that in. 6 squared, x equals 36. Okay, we're going to work down. Same idea here. 7 exponent 0.5 equals x. So 7 exponent 0.5 equals x. We know that exponent 0.5 is exponent 1/2, which means root 7 is equal to x. So literally, either of those I type in, I'm going to get a rounded decimal of 2.65, rounding to 2 decimal places. Okay. Let's check B. So again, we're using the 7 rule. Our base is a 1, so we're using our 7 rule. 1 exponent 6 equals z. Well, 1 exponent anything is just 1. Therefore, z has to equal 1. Same thing on this one. We're going to be using the 7 rule. So x squared equals 4. And now we have to get rid of our squared sign. So we need to square root x squared to get rid of the squared sign. So we square root the other side. So that means x equals 2 in that case. Okay, working below on letter E, same idea. We're going to have 0.1 exponent negative 3 equals x, and you're going to type it in exactly as you see it, and you're going to get 1,000. Letter F, same idea. We're using the 7 rule. So x exponent 4 equals 81. Okay, the 7 rule only works if the value's on the right-hand side. So I'm just going to take 4 and go equal 4 on the other side. That allows me to use my 7 rule. So now I can go x exponent 4 equals 81. So in our calculators now, we would find the 4th root, and we would take the 4th root of x to the 4th, remove the exponent 4. So we're going to take the 4th root of 81. So in our calculators, there is no 4th root button, so we have to create it. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit 4 first. We need to have the index number first. Then we hit our math button, and we're going to go down to number 5. What that does is that 4 is inserted as that x for the index. Now we're going to put in 81, and hopefully we all know that it's 3. So 3 exponent 4, we can work backwards. 3 exponent 4 should give us 81. Okay? So, ending up, x equals 3. Okay, go back and check your work. You should now complete section 1.2 in your practice booklet. This concludes lesson 1.2.